Darkcast Network. Out of the shadows come the best indie podcasts.
I'm Ted.
I'm JJ.
And we're here to tell you about our show, Conspiring to Argue.
I like it.
That is not relevant. What do we do on the show?
Well, on our podcast, what we do is take conspiracy theories, and either Ted or myself will argue about if the conspiracy is real or not.
Yep. And sometimes the conspiracies are silly. Sometimes they're, in the pantheon of the greatest conspiracies of all time. It's a mixed bag.
Sometimes they're about aliens.
So check us out wherever you listen to podcasts.
On his way, devil is on his way, devil is on his way, motherfucker, the devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees, devil is on his way, fall to your knees, devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees, devil is on his way, motherfucker, he's on his...
Hey y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey Dylan.
What's up?
How you doing?
I am wet.
We survived the Memorial Day weekend.
My gosh, I don't know about your area, but our area was inundated with moisture. Just storm after storm.
Thunderstorms.
And I felt bad for people who had made big plans.
Yes, and it continues to rain.
And it continues to rain.
Yes, we went on a 2-hour adventure today, trying to get some food. And it was not working out for us. Traffic, accidents, places just decided to be closed, even though they do not announce it.
What's this thing called the internet?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I know, right? You can't just let us know that you're closing this week. I mean, what's up? Anyway, yeah, very, very wet day, Dylan.
And one more thing, we walked into a place. Okay, so it's rainy out. We get it. Business is probably down. We walk into a place. And when I say empty, it was literally empty. There was a woman who walked in right before us. We were the only 3 people, non-employee, in the building. And so we stand there.
Oh, and by the way, there are some dudes in the corner recording a podcast in the bar.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pub, an Irish pub, I should say. So they're inside the pub, like in a corner booth, recording a podcast.
I'm going to guess that's got to be an owner or somebody like that, which is really weird.
I don't know what kind of podcast was happening over there.
We're not against. I was checking out their gear, recognize a lot of it. We are not against podcasting, obviously. We're all for it. And some people say they're, I think it's funny when people who are in the space are like, oh, so all we need to know. But you're a podcaster too, bud. Everybody gets a chance. Whether it makes it or not, that's on the person doing it. So here we are in this empty place. And, I give them a second. There's nobody in here. You might be goofing off, doing your own thing or whatever.
But there's probably 7 or 8 employees at the bar.
Piled up around the bar, behind it, in front of it, just, fucking off. And they just sit there and look at us.
They were just staring at us.
Just staring at us, like waiting on us to make the first move. So we were like, okay, I guess you don't want our business.
When you have a sign that says, please wait here to be seated.
Right.
You expect someone's going to offer you seating somewhere.
You typically have an active host.
But yeah, these clowns were just standing there looking at us like what? Why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in our space, right?
Yeah.
This is the party zone. You're not allowed here or something.
It's very strange.
I feel like I wasn't invited into the clubhouse.
And I feel like if I was a server at a place like that, on a slow day, I would be happy to see customers. But whatevs. So
yeah, it was just part of our 2-hour adventure to try to find some food. And yeah, one of those days. Let's get into this case, Dylan. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to our newest patrons, Brandon and Jennifer.
Brandon and Jennifer.
Brandon and Jennifer, thank you so much for subscribing over at our Patreon.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
so very much, and we hope you enjoyed the ad-free and extra content over there on the Patreons.
Dylan, are you ready to get into today's story?
I want to dive straight in. I don't want to waste a minute.
Well, you're wasting plenty of time right now.
Well, I'm just saying,
Just existing.
me talking about not wasting a minute is not wasting a minute.
Well, vacation season is ramping up, and I know some of y'all might be headed down to Dirty Myrtle, a.k.a. Myrtle Beach, the Grand Strand, South Carolina. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I always like to give a little background to set the stage for our case. And if you're unfamiliar with the Grand Strand, I'm fixing to tell you about it. Myrtle Beach has many nicknames, from Dirty Myrtle to the Redneck Riviera. It is one of the best-known resort cities on the East Coast and the center of the Grand Strand, which is 60 miles of beaches along northeastern South Carolina.
That seems like a lot of beaches.
I'm here for it, right? I'm ready for that 60 miles of beach to be in my life.
You know, I mean, it's always been a pretty big destination, you know, as far as the beach goes for people in, gosh, all the way. I've heard people in Ohio remember going to Myrtle Beach, you know, as a yearly vacation.
I remember being a kid and meeting Canadians who had come all the way down to visit Myrtle Beach.
And so obviously you have the, you know, the people from the Carolinas, but it goes so much further than that. It's always been a pretty big destination, right?
I suppose so. Now, long before evil colonizers established settlements, the region was inhabited by Native American tribes, including the Waccamaw and Winya peoples. The area was originally heavily forested and isolated by rivers, swamps, and marshland. When European settlers arrived in the 1700s, the sandy soil made plantation agriculture difficult. The town was named for the wax myrtle scrubs that grew naturally along the coast. Myrtle Beach is a tourism destination with over 14 million visitors a year.
Damn.
The Carolina Shag Dance became famous in nearby North Myrtle Beach. It's known for golf resorts, fishing, beaches, retirement communities, biker rallies, and, of course, family vacations. It is called the golf capital of the world, and also, Dylan, the mini golf capital of the world.
Oh, really?
I'm ready to play some mini golf. You know, I have not played mini golf in a few years,
You know,
and it's super fun, and I'm ready to go play.
yeah, it seems like, I guess maybe if you're not in the right place, it's harder to find mini golf, you know?
Yeah, it
Because-
seems like nowadays there are not mini golf courses just, you know, just anywhere. It's like you have to seek them out.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to go to some tourist trappy kind of place.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, I remember most towns had one, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was something to do. It's like, you know, having a bowling alley or a movie theater in town.
A putt-putt.
A putt-putt.
You go have fun at the putt-putt.
Man, I want a putt-putt. All right, so 52-year-old Carrie and 61-year-old Steven Turner were a married couple who lived in Durham, North Carolina. They owned the Mayo Marina Mart, a local business. Steven was also the head of Durham Regional Medical Center's IT department, but he retired in 2014, and I would say that's like an important job, I would imagine,
Well, yeah.
being in charge of an IT department at a major hospital.
Oh, IT, you know, security, and just the infrastructure, the importance of, you know, what's done there at the hospital. It's a very, very important job. And so certainly being the head or director of that would be a prestigious position.
I'm always amazed about the folks who work in cybersecurity or who handle like IT issues, because I am not that person. Once upon a time, I attempted to take like a cybersecurity class and was just like, no.
Yeah, I was wondering why you thought that was going to work out. You were really pumped about it.
Well, I thought it would be a cool class and I would learn some interesting things, you know?
But we don't know anything about computers.
Well, I didn't realize you had to already be like super technical. Like you already had to be very tech savvy and know how to like dismantle a computer before you could even take the class.
Right.
That was not my expectation. This is like a basic intro to cybersecurity.
Yeah, I've heard,
Yeah, well, I learned my lesson.
I've heard stories of like cyber attacks on hospitals and, these kinds of networks, and it can cause a lot of damage.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you watched The Pit season 2, spoiler alert, you might see some of that.
It could literally put people's lives in danger.
Carrie and Steven were described as wonderful people. Steve was incredibly smart, and Carrie was generous and helpful. They were deeply involved in their children's lives, like sports. They were always there, rooting their kids on. The Turners were living the American dream, this kind of like work hard so you can play hard later type of thing. They spent years working hard so they could one day retire and enjoy life together. And I think, again, isn't that the American dream?
That's the tail end of the American dream.
Is that you can retire sometime. Of course, nowadays, we'll probably all be working until we die.
Well, the way I say it is if you retire while you can still get around,
Yeah, you're still mobile.
And able to enjoy yourself and not dealing with just a whole bunch of health issues and things like that.
Win.
And are not, and your income is not a fixed, well, I guess it's technically a fixed income, but you have plenty. You have enough to still have some fun, do some of the stuff you want. But, more and more that seems to be a pipe dream for many people.
Sadly, sad but true. The Turners were parents to 2 children, Alex and Janiah Turner. I think that's how you say her name. I'm going to just say Janiah. That's probably wrong. Alex had a lengthy criminal record. Some described Alex as very manipulative. He was into drugs and often took advantage of his parents' finances to support his habit. Alex was in and out of their home. He might move in for a few days, have a fight with mom and dad, move out.
Steal all the quarters out of the change jar.
Then come back. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it was kind of back and forth with his parents. Many parents provide financial help from time to time for their adult children. Maybe a few bucks toward rent or like a car repair. And from time to time, we've given our adult kids money when they needed it. But it's usually something that's necessary. It's an essential, not just here, go buy some pot with my money, right?
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, you help them out. By helping them out is things like, hey, I need $100 towards my lot bill until I get paid or something like that.
Right.
Or, and most of the time, if you're able, you say, hey, don't worry about that, or don't worry about paying me back or something like that. But yeah, I'm not just going to give you money to waste.
Well, I think it's nice to be able to provide that kind of help because we've never really been able to ask our parents for a bailout. If I borrowed money for like a car repair, there was always an expectation that I was going to pay it back
very quickly.
And then I would be hounded like, when are you paying me back? Even though it's only been like a couple hours. And I told you I don't get paid for like 3 days. Yeah. Anyway, like for example, when I got out of the Navy, my mother expected me to find an apartment right away and move in. Like she did not want me to be in her house for like more than a couple days, which is very weird to me, but whatever.
Well, she didn't want you to establish residency at her home.
I guess not.
So she would have to actually go through, the procedure to evict you. She didn't want you to have squatters' rights in her home.
I'm pretty sure that's not even a thing where we lived, but okay. Not all families can provide that extra support, or maybe they don't want to, because maybe you got some shitty parents. I don't know. Well, the couple had big plans for retirement. When Steve retired in 2014, they sold their business, the Marina Mart, and in September of 2014, Steve and Carrie were on a cruise when their home at 6th Mayor Court in Durham, North Carolina, burned down.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? Like, oh my gosh, a house fire is so scary, but you're on vacation and you find out your house is burned down?
It's kind of hard to have a good time after that.
Well, yeah, and you're on a cruise, so you're
stuck
somewhere in international waters, possibly.
That would suck so bad. And fire sucks anyway because it is everything. It takes everything, let alone if, maybe you lose some pets. If you're lucky, at least there's no loss of life of any type. But at the very least, all your stuff is gone.
Yeah, though a tragedy, the family was very lucky because no one was inside the house and the 2 dogs were rescued. The fire was described as so severe that firefighters were unable to enter the home, which was enveloped in flames. Part of the house collapsed onto a leaking gas line. Firefighters, and let's just pause for a moment to say thank you to our firefighters. I feel like emergency service folks are great people. They put their lives on the line every day, and maybe firefighters sometimes get overlooked.
Well, yeah, I think it's just one of those things that it's always there, always present 24/7, but you just kind of forget about it. You know, and that goes, the same goes for police, obviously, but I think they're a little more visible than, say, paramedics, firefighters, dispatchers, all the people who make up your emergency services infrastructure. And, you know, just recently, as of yesterday, you know, some very brave men and women stopped a chemical tank from blowing up
In California.
yeah,
I did see that. On
and
the
and
news.
now I think they finally got it back into the green and the safety zone.
Yes.
And they're able to, you know, do whatever they need to do to break the chemical down and safely remove it. But that they were really putting their life literally on the line to save an entire community.
Well, what they do, and if we have any listeners who are firefighters, what you guys do is truly dangerous. And I am so grateful for anyone willing to rush into a burning structure and save lives. Again, I'm not the one. I'm not going to put out your fire, and I'm not going to fix your computer for you. Certain things I can't do.
No IT fire service from you?
No, firefighting in the military is one of my most hated jobs, and any training, mainly because I don't like the breathing apparatus.
Well,
I tried
Scott packs, things
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I'm like the scuba pack, whatever. I'm super claustrophobic, and so having anything on my face on top of it controls how many breaths you're allowed to take or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, I don't like that.
And that's one thing that kept me from doing bidding on certain jobs in the paper mill, is because you had to be fitted and trained for what theirs were called Scott packs, basically portable air units.
Yeah, there were a couple different
and
types of, breathing apparatus available.
I didn't want anything to do with that, but I did have a few brushes with fires. And it was funny because everything was pretty stringently outlined as far as safety and protocol goes. But when it came to fires, they were like, well, if you want to stay and, help or, actually take part in putting it out, you can. It's up to you. And I always thought that was strange, but it's funny because, people actually would, to a degree, varying degrees, participate in that. And I guess the way everyone viewed it was, if there's a catastrophic fire, and obviously loss of life would be terrible, but if the whole thing burns up, then I don't have a job. So people were pretty adamant about, trying to help and squash those very quickly.
Right. So my limited experience with this was in the Navy, obviously, and we had general quarters, which is like the highest state of readiness on a naval ship. And it requires the entire crew to man their designated battle stations.
So everybody has a position
So they would
to
get on
be
the
in.
1MC and be like, monkeys, man your monkey stations. And we would go man our monkey stations. So, yeah, you had to train. A lot of people were on like a firefighting team or different battle stations, I guess you could say. And thankfully, they were smart enough to not put me in like a training, like a fire team. I was not on a fire team.
Where was your battle station?
I was in DC Central or whatever. I was doing like a phone talker. So
you're
would-
like the wind
so I would,
talkers
like,
of the
pass
Navajo.
messages back and forth over this weird little phone.
The phone talker. Starring
It was
Heather.
sort of like a tin can. It'd be like, hello.
Okay.
Yeah. But we would do training where we had to climb through a hot porthole, like into a smoke-filled compartment. You would pick up like a heavy mannequin, one of those rescue dolls, and try to carry it out through the same porthole that's burning hot.
Like you're saying, physically hot.
Yeah.
Temperature hot.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's stressful for sure. And that was just an exercise, So, firefighters, love what you do.
So here they're on their cruise.
Yeah.
They get this horrible news. They've lost everything. Well, as far as their home's concerned.
Yes. Terrible situation. Durham police and fire were unable to determine the fire's cause and eventually closed the case. Loss of a home due to fire is so scary because you lose your home and, physical safety. But I always think of the sentimental photos, heirlooms, important documents.
They're irreplaceable.
Yeah, because, you're not going to be able to just go grab your child's baby pictures or your wedding album.
Or a bag of your Nana's hair. You can't replace that.
No. I always like to keep my hair outside the house anyway.
You can't.
I have a lockbox that you don't know about. Well, then there's the inventory process and working with an insurance company. If you have homeowners or rentals, I mean, it gets tricky. There's a lot of red tape.
I've seen
paperwork.
people even make even have a minor fire, just having to deal with the insurance company when it comes to them actually giving you money. It seems to be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, and a lot of times you are responsible for like buying your furniture.
We'll
but then-
reimburse
but
you.
then they reimburse you.
Yeah.
So you have to hang on to all of the receipts and
Yeah,
prove-
what if you can't? I mean, not everyone could replace anything. I mean, I can get a couple of Goodwill couches next week. I just have to start there, I guess.
Well, we could just drive around and pick through people's trash.
Yeah.
On the corner.
That's right. You mean find treasures?
Yes. We have been watching Hoarders lately. They find treasures.
One man's trash is another man's pile of shit.
Yes. Alex Turner was a person of interest in the fire, though he was never charged. The damages were over $250,000. So after this fire, the couple moved to Roxborough, North Carolina, to a home on Mayo Lake. Ultimately, Stephen and Carrie wanted to relocate to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to live out their retirement. And they had made a few trips down to look at various housing options.
Now, wait a second. Their son was a person of interest in this fire?
Yes.
How are they dealing with that?
Well, I don't know, Dylan, but thanks for asking.
I'm just saying, I would be like, hold on, before we worry about anything else, I need to have, I would have a come to Jesus moment with my son. Like, why would you be, any kind of a person of interest in the burning of our home?
When you say we're going to have a come to Jesus moment, this just makes me think of something I heard this woman talking about when you're from the South and she had a meet, like she'd gone into her office or something and told her manager, like, we need to have a come to Jesus meeting. And he's not Southern and he had no idea what she was talking about and thought it was some kind of like prayer meeting or something.
It's a meeting where you figure out what's really going on.
Yeah.
And you put it all on the table and everyone's honest and some feelings may get hurt.
Yeah. Well, it was, it's kind of a funny story. Carrie's brother Thomas, who had intellectual disabilities, had moved in with the couple after their parents passed away. He often accompanied the Turners on their trips to the beach and on vacations. Now we're going to skip around a little bit. So 23-year-old Alex Turner was enjoying a night out on the town when he meets Chelsea Griffin, a 19-year-old from Virginia. Chelsea was attending Carolina Coastal University and working part-time as a server at the Treasure Club, which is an adult entertainment establishment.
Yeah. Okay.
She had relocated from Virginia to attend college and play soccer. However, her dreams of playing D1 soccer were foiled. By the time she transferred to Carolina Coastal, the soccer team had a full roster, and she didn't get the scholarship she had hoped for. So now she's stuck paying tuition, on her own. I'm sure her parents were helping as well, but she was living off campus, and, that can all be very expensive.
So it's not quite the college experience she was going for.
Yeah, she transferred from a college in Virginia and didn't quite work out the way she thought it would. So for our listeners who have kids in college, it's like paying a second mortgage from what I'm told.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, out-of-state tuition is always more expensive, and Chelsea needed to earn some money. The Treasure Club, as I mentioned, it's an adult entertainment establishment on Seaboard Street in Myrtle Beach. Chelsea was hired as a server. She was offered an opportunity to dance, but she turned that down. She was strictly interested in serving drinks
So she just
only.
Well, yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with dancing, but it's not her thing. She's not into that.
No,
Okay.
I understand. Very uncoordinated person in here.
She wouldn't be ready for me to come through and make it drizzle on them.
You're going to, what?
Yeah, instead of making it rain, I'm just going to make it drizzle because I'm not going to give them much money. Because I don't roll like that.
Let's be honest. You're not even going to go in.
I'm not going to go in.
It's not for you.
It's not my cup of tea.
You don't like it.
It grosses me out. I don't know what to say. I've had friends kind of, give me hell over the years. I'm like, I really don't want to go. If you guys are going to do that, I'll get up with you later. maybe tomorrow, whatever. I'm out.
Well, they are a little seedy.
I don't want to go.
And maybe not the cleanest places. At least some of the very lowbrow clubs I've been to are maybe not often very sanitary, I should say. You know,
but I
everything
mean,
feels sticky.
It's the same thing. It's just varying degrees of it, I guess, as far as maybe the cleanliness of tables and booths. But I don't know. It's just weird. The whole thing, the whole concept to me, and not that I don't want to, see a woman, but just not in that setting.
What about a man?
No.
Once upon a time, I went to this all-male strip club in D.C. Actually, it's down by the Navy Yard, and it was called Wet.
Oh.
Yeah. So I go in there with a couple of my gay guy friends, and they're like all about it, And then they got mad at me because I kept laughing because the dancers were wearing socks.
Really?
Yeah. Like white athletic socks or something, or black socks. And I was laughing.
Like on their junk?
No, on their feet.
What, pulled up to their knees?
So it's a strip club, and they're, down to their little jock straps or their little thongs or whatever they're wearing.
But they have these socks on.
But they had socks on, and I just couldn't get past it, and it was hilarious. But my friends got mad at me. Like, it's not that funny. And I'm like, but it kind of is. And they're like, well, where else are they supposed to put their tips? So I guess that's where they put their tips.
Okay.
In their socks.
I thought you meant like
But I mean, come
run
on.
around like a bunch of elephants.
I don't know a single lady out there, or gay man for that matter, who's into, here's a naked man with a pair of socks on, right?
Right.
I've never heard anybody I know be like, I can't wait to have sex with that guy. I hope he wears a pair of socks.
You won't let me wear a pair of socks in bed.
You should start, because I don't like when you touch me with your weird feet.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's that boot feet.
Yeah.
Them old meal feet.
I don't like feet. We went out with some friends a couple weeks ago on a boat, on our friend's boat, and he was talking about, like, he hates feet. He's like, I don't like my own feet. I don't like other people's feet, and I can so relate to that.
Yeah. And he was talking about he wanted to get a pedicure, but he didn't want anybody to touch his feet.
Yes.
Sounded just like you.
I know. I was like, wow, we've bonded over something together. Now, funny fact, the OG Treasure Club, Dylan, was launched in Asheville, North Carolina, and now has several locations, including the Myrtle Beach location, which opened in 2008.
Wow, I didn't know there was a connection.
The Asheville location has permanently closed due to the damage from Hurricane Helene. I should just mention the Asheville Club had terrible security. There's the story of Noah Bolden we've discussed on the pod. He killed an Uber driver on New Year's Eve a few years ago.
With the same gun that they took from him and gave him back.
Right, so he was at the Treasure Club in Asheville New Year's Eve, partying or whatever. Pulled a gun on a customer in the bathroom, and instead of calling the police, they just escorted him out and told him, like, you need to get a cab. He calls the Uber driver, and he ends up murdering her with the same gun.
And doing terrible things to her.
Doing terrible things to her, yes.
What a piece of shit.
Yes.
And his mom was a piece of shit, too, because she tried to help cover up for him.
Yeah, his mother was an accessory, so.
No, I don't know if that place was completely above board, because... See, that's the difference right there between a professional establishment and some fly-by-night where anything can happen. You don't know if you're safe. The dancers, the servers, bartenders, everybody may be at risk. Is you have to have a place like that. You have to have a professional security team who knows what they're doing, not just
and is on top of things.
And on top of things and keeping control of people. Because I got to say.
How do you not have a metal? That's the other part, is how do you not have something like a metal detector when you're entering into a club? Because somebody could have a knife, a gun. I mean, you're putting everyone at risk.
The handful of clubs I've been in briefly over the years, you didn't mess around. Like, you were on your best behavior.
Well, the Treasure Club had no
I'm just saying,
security as far as,
You didn't get loud. You didn't
weapons check or anything like that.
You didn't do anything, the dancers didn't want you to. They had very strict rules that they, whatever. And that's the way I've always thought it was, but apparently not.
If you read some of the reviews of the Asheville Treasure Club, I thought some of these were kind of funny. Somebody alleged they had a flea infestation.
Ooh,
There was
that ain't fleas, girl.
there were other reports of the house taking 60% of the girl's earnings,
Damn.
which seems outrageous. And then, just poorly run, being dirty. Again, a flea infestation.
That ain't fleas.
I'm sure the Myrtle Beach Club is much nicer.
Those bugs are kin to fleas, but they live somewhere else.
Okay, real quick. I know we are way off topic because that's who we are as people. I have an amusing story about Myrtle Beach stripper.
Oh, okay.
I worked for this guy. I worked in real estate around the time that the market completely crashed in like 2008, 9, 10, right? So I worked in the real estate business at that time, like marketing and MLS, person. One of the owners of I worked for a Coldwell Banker franchise, and they had 11 offices when I started, and by the end they were down to 2.
Damn.
Yeah. One of the so two brothers owned the franchises, and one brother was like a builder and built a bunch of subdivisions in and around Asheville, and then the other brother was like the real estate guy. So the real estate guy, and I won't give away his name, had been married for 20, 30 years, had kids, adult kids. He went to Myrtle Beach and met a young lady who was a dancer,
An entertainer.
and then spent like a fortune on her, sent her to like an Aveda hair school, trip to Italy, bought her, I can't even remember, like a Mercedes, like some really nice luxury car. I think he bought her boobs. But anyway, spent a fortune on this girl, ended up getting a divorce. His wife took him to the cleaners. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
Good for her. I'm glad she did. So then he's with this young woman,
With new boobs.
who is about the same age as his daughter.
That's gross.
Well, everybody at the office thought it was gross, and this was like a big, salacious, gossipy story that everybody loved to talk about. Anyway, he moves the stripper from Myrtle Beach to his nice big house in Asheville, and in just a few months, she spends tons of money, and he's looking at like filing for bankruptcy, and the business is failing, and all this shit's going down, and then she ends up leaving him to go back to like her ex-husband, who lived in Gastonia, of all places.
Nah, and I bet his name was like Dustin or something, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What the hell?
Oh, we love a Dustin. Come
No,
on now.
no offense to Dustins anywhere.
We love a Dustin.
So
I'm just saying, like,
Well,
it was like such a weird story at the time, because I'm just like, really? Like, he fucked his whole life up? But then the kicker is, oh yeah, and by the way, she's done run off and left him.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you can't repo them titties.
After like using him and draining him of money, and then she drives off in her new car. Oh, and has a big whopping ring on her finger too, like this big ass diamond ring he bought her. And then she just drives off with her titties in her ring.
Well, I guess
on the road to Gastonia.
he kind of deserved that. I don't know what he was thinking.
Well, I didn't say I felt sorry for him at all.
Right.
Plus, he was kind of a jackass. He insisted if you wore a dress or skirt of any kind, like you had to wear hose.
Why?
And I'm just like, bro, it's like 2010.
Yeah.
Like, you wear some hose. I mean, who wants to wear hose to work every day? I don't. That's why I just wore pants. Now, Alex, he was a cute guy. And he seemed interested, in Chelsea. And she learned he was from North Carolina. The pair kind of hit it off while they're just chatting. Chelsea was drawn to his eyes, which she described as beautiful and like an aquamarine, like staring at the ocean.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Drifting. Ooh, yeah.
Well, now he tells Chelsea, like, I'm in town for a job. He's having a couple drinks, whatever. Then he just goes on his way.
He tells her he's an eye model.
Yeah. I mean, all those Vision commercials.
I've been told I have bedroom eyes. What is? I don't even know.
You do?
Yeah.
Who said that?
What is bedroom eyes? Look at me.
I think that means like they're seductive.
For real?
Like you have eyes that are seductive.
Oh my God.
Want to go to bed with you.
Oh.
I don't know.
Damn, I can see a bitch in the bedroom.
Who told you had bedroom eyes?
More than one, Heather.
I think that person needed to go get their eyes checked. Okay?
More than one.
Okay. Well, good for you.
I'm going to look you into the bedroom and later.
I am going to sleep in my son's room.
You're going to take your glasses off, ain't you?
Yes. Then I can't see you. Now, Alex goes on his way. The following evening, he returns to the Treasure Club. The pair spent some more time talking, and Chelsea noticed that Alex didn't really say much about himself, which she found mysterious.
Yeah.
You know, he likes to ask a lot of questions, and she's like, oh, this is refreshing, like a guy who doesn't talk about himself all the time, right?
Yeah.
She likes this. And by the time their second interaction ended, she was crushing hard on this guy.
I suspect when a guy doesn't talk a lot about himself, he doesn't have much going on. Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're a guy, I don't know.
I don't talk about myself. Do I? I don't. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't make them say I had bedroom eyes. They just said it.
Okay. We know you, Dylan.
You said I don't ask people questions.
You do not ask people questions.
You're real good. I can learn a lot about people by just listening to you talk to them. It's like they're being interviewed and they don't know it.
It's a bad habit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Having been a reporter, conducting many an interview.
You're good. You get people wound up.
I interview the hell out of people when I meet them. But people like to talk about themselves, and I'm a good listener, so it works out. And then I don't have to do a whole lot of talking because, you know, I'm really awkward with small talk.
But it's hard for me because I can't concentrate. And I like, even if I'm interested in what they're saying, I can't stay engaged. It's so weird.
Well, you just don't ask questions at all because you'll tell me some story about, like, your daughter. And you'll be like, yeah, she got married. And I'm like, when? What are you talking about? Where'd she get married? Who'd she marry, right? I mean, this is not a real example. I'm just saying this could be an example. And I'm asking you a million questions. You're like, I don't know. I'm like, what?
She didn't tell me.
You didn't ask? And you're like, nope. What is wrong with you?
All right, so she is loving her some Alex.
She's into it, right? He's got the Betty Davis eyes.
He got them
He's got
eyes.
the aquamarine eyes. Alex returns for a third night in a row, and this time he asks Chelsea for her phone number.
Let me get them digits.
Let me get them digits, because he is feeling her too.
He done crept up from behind, like Biggie.
Well, he did ask her what her interests are.
And who she be with.
Things that make her smile.
And what numbers to dial.
The pair quickly entered into a hot, passionate relationship that was primarily physical.
Okay. And that's okay.
Well, R. Kelly said there's nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. And I agree with that, as long as you're not trying to grind on a 14-year-old, right? R. Kelly.
R still in jail, ain't he? Okay, so I can't talk about
Or
it.
when your body rocking, knocking the boots.
The body rocking, knocking them bolts.
Yeah. Well, I can't help myself. I've been on like a 90s kind of hip-hop and R&B playlist recently. Okay, so Alex, again, he's not really discussing much about himself. They're hooking up. Things are hot and heavy. She knows all about his penis, but doesn't know his birthday. Or his middle name.
And that's okay sometimes to start a relationship like that, because you have plenty of room to grow. No, I mean, for real.
Is that a penis joke?
No, it wasn't. I mean, come on. We don't make penis jokes or fart jokes here on Mount Murders.
Okay, stop. Then one night, Alex finally opened up to Chelsea. She was asked if she could keep a secret.
Oh, my God.
And then he makes a confession. Are you ready, Dylan?
I got a feeling of a few categories this may fall in, but go ahead.
You might want to hold on to your drawers with this one. Alex told her he worked for the Department of Defense as a special agent.
Oh, my God.
He was sent to Myrtle Beach to infiltrate a domestic terrorist organization funded by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's a knee-boarding gang. that's planning on a very
It's a white supremacist kneeboarding gang.
is a large attack they're going to do on the pavilion.
A white supremacist boogie board.
Yeah, they're going to bring the
society.
Ferris wheel down.
Yes. So Alex explained that he had been a super soldier in the U.S. Army and was recruited to carry out this special mission because he was a highly skilled assassin.
Well, so basically he's Captain America?
I guess. I've never seen Captain America. I
Well-
don't know anything about Captain America.
Well, he was part of a program to create a super soldier.
Other than the hot guy was in the movie. What's his name, Chris
Yeah,
Evans?
but in Captain America's origin story, he's a little guy who can't hardly cut it in the army. And then they give him the serum, the secret serum,
Oh.
and it makes him into Captain America.
See, I have no idea.
And then he looks like me afterwards.
Yes, I was very confused. I thought Chris Evans was sitting next to me.
Yeah, before he turned into Anthony Mackie.
He told Chelsea that her life could be in danger. Alex also said he worried about the safety of his own family. Do men really think this type of lie works on women? I'm just curious.
Dude, you know how many times this, I can't tell you because I'd have to kill you bullshit, has been done by con artist men to women? A lot.
A lot, yeah.
A lot.
I've heard many a true crime pod, various cases discussing this type of thing.
American greed. This happens all the time. And it's the way, because if you think about it, if they buy it, you can use it to give you cover for everything. When you don't show up, when you disappear for period of time,
yes.
when you're secretive because
playing
you're
sneaky squirrel with your phone or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, all that shit falls under this umbrella.
Don't post me on social media and tag me.
No,
no
don't.
one can see my face.
No, can't see me.
I'm going to say over the years, I've encountered a few dudes with this kind of storyline, and I know it's bullshit, and I always like to fuck with them. For example, we had this guy who volunteered for one of the roller derby teams that I skated with. He was a really good skater, by the way. Middle-aged guy. Tried to convince me that he was former Delta Force.
Okay.
And look, I've seen those Delta Force guys, and I can absolutely tell you he did not have the body of a Delta Force operator.
Right. Even years after.
He had, no, he looked like he had maybe sat on a couch for 20 years, right? Yeah, so that was fun because I love to fuck with people. So I'm asking him all kinds of crazy questions, and it's like the lies just keep getting more outrageous. And then I'm like challenging him, like, yeah, I know all about that. And he'd be like, yeah. And I would just make up stuff like, were you part of that operation, Black Waffle? And he'd be like, yes. So, dude, it was super funny. So I fucked with this guy for a while. And then finally people were like, he's creepy. And they made him go away.
You would have kept fucking with him.
I had a lot of fun fucking with him. And then I met this other guy who was trying to convince me one time that he was like a millionaire. And he was sending me photos of like his house in Miami and all these cars and stuff. And I'm like, well, if you're rich, you should just send me some money.
Did he?
No.
Ah, damn it.
No. And then I Googled him, and he had been arrested for like pretending to be a doctor.
What?
And like burning down an apartment building. So he had like a criminal history. Anyway, it's pretty funny.
He's a doctor impersonating arsonist.
Yes.
Wow.
Since he needed a place to hide out, Chelsea offered him space in her apartment. And just like that, the pair are living together.
He's a hobosexual.
While she's funding it. Because he's not getting paid from the army.
Well, no, because, his recent missions have been abroad and all his currency is, he's concerned about the exchange rate.
The DFAS statement's not coming through.
Yeah.
Now, around this time, Carrie and Steven planned a trip to Myrtle Beach. One of the main missions of this trip was to bring their son, Alex, home. All right. Got to get into this, Dylan. So, Alex, as I've mentioned, troubled young man who had run-ins with the law. At the time, he was on probation in Durham County, North Carolina. There had been some tension between the Turners and their son, and this was mainly over money because they are funding him. He doesn't have a job, so everything he does is, he has to ask mom and dad for money. He's buying drugs, and he's not doing right, as they say.
I couldn't imagine being like that as a grown person.
So they're funding his lifestyle, and he's been using their money to buy drugs, harder drugs, heavier drugs, more drugs than usual, and, they're not happy about this. Alex had been arrested in Durham on breaking and entering charges while he was on probation. He completed a stint in rehab at the Wilmington Treatment Center and was living in a kind of like a halfway house in Myrtle Beach.
I've always wondered how they keep the rain out of one of those halfway houses.
They have a half umbrella that they use.
Come on, that was pretty good, right? I mean, has it got walls or does it just have a roof?
It's a great dad joke.
Okay.
Great dad joke. So fast forward a few weeks to March 16th of 2015 when a housekeeper enters room 1208 at Myrtle Beach's Landmark Resort around 1 p.m. Now, the couple renting the room was supposed to check out by then. You know, checkouts at like 11 a.m., but they had left personal items behind. The housekeeper didn't really think much of it because plenty of people leave things behind in rented rooms. If anybody knows or has worked in hospitality in a motel, a hotel, I'm sure they have stories because I've heard some crazy shit that gets left behind in motel rooms.
Yeah, my mom
Hotel
worked,
rooms.
worked in hospitality for a while, and she has some good stories.
Yeah.
Weird stuff, creepy
A lot of
stuff,
sex toys get
gross
left behind.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a weekend sex toy. You just leave it.
Yeah.
They cost too much for that. Used to, they did.
Just abandon that thing.
Nah, you gotta just get some scalding water, clean that thing up.
Gross. You can put it in the dishwasher.
Get some witch hazel on that sucker and dunk it.
She mentioned the luggage to a manager who told her, like, go ahead, work around the items. Maybe, you know, someone will come back and get them. Or, you know, we'll bring them downstairs, whatever. But just go ahead and clean the room. I would be concerned about full luggage, though, right?
Full luggage? Yeah, that's
'Cause
not
this
some
is-
items. That's
well-
all the items.
Well, this is luggage. And as she began cleaning the room, she makes a few alarming discoveries. When she pulls back the comforter to make the bed, the sheets are gone and there was a large blood stain on the mattress.
Damn.
The housekeeper called the front desk to report the findings, saying she didn't think the couple had lost track of time or forgotten their luggage.
Yeah, I'm not cleaning this crime scene, bud.
Well, as a precaution, the resort phoned Myrtle Beach police immediately. And at first, law enforcement isn't convinced of wrongdoing. They suggested one of the room's occupants had maybe been injured. They were taken to an urgent care emergency room, and they may come back soon. Yet no one returned to the room. Police asked about the room's occupants and learned that it was a couple from Durham, and they had checked in with a third man, Thomas Daly. So as I mentioned before, Thomas Daly was Carrie's brother,
Okay.
who had like cognitive disabilities, and she was caring for him after their parents had passed away. So, and he's a grown man. I mean, he's like, she's 52, so you know he's somewhere in that age range. I
Okay.
think he might be older than her. Now, after a few hours, when no one had returned to the room, law enforcement decided to seal off the room and not allow anyone to enter or touch the contents. Suspicion set in, and police felt maybe there was more to this strange scene.
Damn, these cops are on top of it.
No one had seen or heard anything unusual, and if an occupant had sustained an injury, there was no video of them walking through the lobby. No staff or guests had seen a person who needed help or was bleeding
Or
or
missing
had
an
their
arm.
wrapped up or leg. Yeah, exactly. Law enforcement began taking a closer look inside the room. So not only did the mattress have bloodstains, but there was a small hole in it, and stuffing was sticking out of the mattress. Pretty quickly, they determined this is a bullet hole. A cursory search located a .22 caliber shell casing on the floor by the bed. Now they have a crime scene. Criminal case. A gun was fired in the room. There was no other blood aside from that mattress. A search of the Turners' luggage revealed no wallets or purses. It was also unusual because the third occupant, Thomas Daly, had no personal belongings in the room. It was just the Turners'
Okay.
luggage.
Maybe he's a lot traveler.
A silver Kia Optima was registered at the Landmark under the Turners' reservation. The car couldn't be located in any of the Landmark's parking lots or garages, so like parking decks. When law enforcement lifted the mattress to get a better look at the bullet hole, the mattress and box springs rested on a box-like platform. And inside this box were two deceased bodies.
Oh my God.
And the bodies had obvious gunshot wounds. They were determined or identified as Carrie and Steve Turner.
Damn. What a gruesome discovery.
So they were determined to be the room's occupants. When staff was interviewed, a housekeeper said that on the same morning, around 10 a.m., she had knocked on the door and a voice had said, "We're not ready yet." When investigators reviewed the lobby security footage, they saw a young man and a young woman approach the desk around 9:17 a.m., requesting a later checkout time for room 1208. They were told by the front desk that the occupants, Steven or Carrie Turner, would need to call down or come to the desk and make their request in person, since the reservation was in their name. Now, the same young couple was seen leaving the hotel lobby, and eventually there's footage of them getting into a silver Kia Optima and departing the resort property.
Well, there's the car.
A be on the lookout was issued for the Kia. Investigators began digging into the victim's background and tried to learn more information about the mysterious older gentleman who checked in with the Turners. They had not quite figured out that Thomas Daly was Carrie's brother. So at this point, they're thinking, did this third man have an involvement?
Or is he hurt? Does he, where's he?
Well, at around 3 p.m. on March 6th, the Myrtle Beach police received a credit card alert. The Turner's credit card, the one that was on file at the resort, had been used at a Walmart in Surfside Beach to purchase a television.
Okay.
When I get access to a stolen credit card, the first thing I'm going to do is buy a TV.
Well, and that's certainly not a purchase people make when they're at the beach, right?
No, not usually.
People don't usually buy electronics.
Law enforcement rushed to review Walmart's security footage. The young couple who had approached the front desk at the Landmark Resort, the same folks who left in that Kia, were seen checking out with this TV. A third person, Thomas Daly, was with them. The three were together and driving the Turner's car.
Well, hold on a second. What the hell? The brothers with
This young couple.
the young couple.
Just hold on. Law enforcement has been combing through the Turners' social media to try to learn more about the victims. They even reached out to a few of the Turners' friends on social media who confirmed that the couple had gone to Myrtle Beach. The Turners wanted to retire to the town. They're telling them kind of the whole story. Their house burned. They want to move to the beach. Investigators learned that Thomas Daly was Carrie's brother and that he had these intellectual disabilities. They were told he had the mental acumen of a 5-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So he exhibited a lot of childlike qualities. And though Thomas was said to get frustrated at times, no one knew whether he could become violent. By all accounts, the Turners loved Thomas very much. He could be challenging at times, but they took great care of him, and he was included in every aspect of their lives. And there really had been no mention of him ever being violent.
Right.
So they were like, we don't know, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Law enforcement also learned about the couple's house fire, as I mentioned, and the person of interest being Alex Turner. Now, diving into Alex's background, investigators were told about his troubled history, that he had been a continuous discipline problem while he was in school, especially high school. Alex had run-ins with law enforcement, including charges of theft and breaking and entering. He was currently on probation and wanted by North Carolina for violating it. Alex had long suffered from substance abuse disorder. Friends relayed that Alex had also been reliant on his parents for financial support. Now, this new information helps police understand that the Turner's relationship with their son was, dysfunctional, toxic, and they bordered on enabling him. Financial support, legal problems, along with the drug abuse, it created a lot of friction within this family.
Well, see, that's what happens when you keep on and on. You present it as you're trying to help them, but really you're more so you're just enabling them, and you're not letting them hit their bottom. You're not letting them deal with their consequences for their actions, and you keep bailing them out, and it never turns out well. I've never seen a situation like that where the person just finally says, you know what, I'm being shitty to you. I should do better. You've wasted a lot of time, energy, and money on me. Let me, all of a sudden turn it around. It seldom works out like that.
I know, but parents love their kids, right?
And I get
it's
that.
It can be really hard to just say, like, I'm cutting you off. You're getting no money. That tough love can be really hard for a lot of parents.
Yeah, I know, but the addict is almost by nature a narcissist to a degree, a very selfish person. And I'm speaking, I'm not narcissistic really, I don't think, but I have been selfish, been accused of being selfish. And you'd rather do your substance and you don't care, or more so maybe you just don't think about how it affects others. And when you start having those consequences, it's tough for you to realize that, hey, wait a second, this isn't because, you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's just me, it's my body, I do whatever I want. But no, you're affecting everyone around you, usually in negative ways.
Yeah, usually. Now, 2 days before Alex was arrested on March 4th in Surfside Beach for drug possession and carrying illegal firearms. 2 days before his parents were murdered. He's arrested.
And he's a wanted person in North Carolina
Yes.
at that time.
Yes. Chelsea Griffin was in the car with Alex. They had an AR-15 and a 9mm. The 19-year-old female was described in the police report as being combative and violent when arrested. She had a gram of marijuana on her person. Alex had 5 syringes and aluminum foil in the car as well. Both occupants had suspended driver's licenses.
Okay.
There are conflicting reports. Some say that's why the Turners were in Myrtle Beach. They had come down to bail out their son, bring him home. Others say Chelsea's father bonded the couple out, but either way, they were released from jail. Investigators tracked down the officer who made both arrests in Surfside Beach. Now, he's shown a video of the couple at the landmark resort. The officer positively identifies Alex Turner and Chelsea Griffin. He's like, yes, that's the couple I arrested 2 days ago.
Right.
Yes. Another call came in from Carolina Coastal University's campus police. A silver Kia Optima matching the Be on the Lookout was located at an apartment building near campus, the Monarch Apartments, and that is not the apartment building where Chelsea lived. So this is a completely different apartment building.
But they found the car.
Yes. Investigators concluded an old-fashioned stakeout needed to take place. Now, it didn't take long to spot Thomas Daly. They say he seemed to kind of marvel at the apartment balcony, that he would go inside and come back out multiple times, and he seemed really excited when we come out on the balcony, like, yeah, cool. Like, he just thought it was really cool.
Okay.
Right? And they could kind of tell this seems to be exciting him. Soon, Chelsea and Alex were spotted entering the apartment building. So on March 7th, a SWAT team from the Myrtle Beach Police Department, along with Horry County Sheriff's Department, swept the apartment. They knew Alex Turner had several weapons, possibly including the murder weapon, and that he could be armed and dangerous. But fortunately, the arrests were made without any trouble. Thomas Daly was rescued and secured. The whole time, Alex Turner was described as being really calm and collected, like just a true sociopath or psychopath.
Well, he's had a lot of training.
He's just totally fine the whole time.
The government has put millions of dollars into training this man.
Yes. Yes. Meanwhile, Chelsea is screaming at the police while she's being arrested. She's telling them it's all a big misunderstanding that needs to be resolved. Chelsea proclaims that her boyfriend has been set up by the federal government. If you make some phone calls, we can get this straightened out.
Well, yeah.
You've got the wrong guy. You don't understand.
And I'm sure the police paused at that right then at that instance and, checked with the Pentagon, or I'm sorry, with Langley, to make sure they didn't have one of their guys, or make sure they weren't screwing up some kind of a big operation.
Well, there's that super secret soldier on a mission hotline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's unmanned, though. It's hard to get through.
It's 1888 douche nozzle.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, he's a doober.
You're saying Jason Bourne's a douche nozzle?
Oh, he's no Jason Bourne.
2 other people were arrested for allowing Chelsea and Alex to hide in their apartment. 20-year-old Grant Collins and 18-year-old Roxana Compton were both charged with accessory. Compton was also charged with possession of a controlled substance. Chelsea and Alex were charged with first-degree murder. Okay, so the four were separated and interviewed individually. Chelsea was uncooperative and would not answer questions. Alex was the first to be interviewed, and he's just being super cool. Super cool guy. He told authorities he had been in rehab in Wilmington and had gone to Myrtle Beach to live in this treatment house. And during that time, he'd met Chelsea at the strip club, and the pair had moved in together. His parents and uncle had come to Myrtle Beach to bail him out of jail. Afterward, he said they all went to IHOP for breakfast, including Chelsea. Alex introduced his parents to his new girlfriend. Steve and Carrie tried to convince their son to return to North Carolina, where he was wanted on a fugitive warrant. They were like, you haven't really been able to turn things around living at the beach. You're back in trouble, so you need to go home, work on turning your life around, and face the music because you have these pending charges.
It's not going to go away.
And this all sounds exactly what every decent, concerned parent would say to their child, right?
Yeah, you have to deal with this.
You got to get your head out of your ass, come home, take care of this stuff. And maybe then, once all the smoke's cleared, you can
quit being a shitbird.
Think about this girl. I mean, they were like, Chelsea's sweet and cute, but they told him it wasn't really the best time to get involved in a romantic relationship. Officers described Alex as just seemingly overconfident, bordering on cocky during the interview. He's calm, cool, collected. Again, being a little arrogant. He's the smartest guy in the room.
Why is he so chill? Because he has no reason to be chill. His parents were discovered murdered in a hotel room, and he left the premise. Him and his girlfriend were seen leaving with their car, and obviously he's in possession of their credit cards as well.
He said after the IHOP breakfast, Alex spent the rest of the day riding around with his parents, looking at real estate. He spent the night with them at the hotel. Alex claimed he slept with a handgun under his pillow. He was awakened about an hour later to find Thomas standing over Steve and Carrie holding a gun, or holding the gun. Alex went on to say that Thomas had been deteriorating over the last few years. Alex is blaming Thomas for this double homicide.
Oh, my God.
My uncle did it. I was just trying to protect him.
His poor uncle who is in no way defend himself.
Yeah. So he's like, I just wanted to protect my uncle. That's when he took his uncle out of the room and left the hotel. Chelsea and Alex returned to the hotel to hide their bodies because they're all, it's all to protect Thomas. Now, of course, investigators do not buy this load of horse shit. They did not think Thomas was capable of such a crime. He wasn't even able to communicate with police, during an interview.
Well, yeah, I mean, why would he? What's the motivation here? You know what I mean? Why would he do this? He's not known to be violent or lashing out or any of that. And just all of a sudden, I mean, this is really low on Alex's part.
Agreed.
To blame this man who already deals with these issues that he has.
Yeah, Alex, you're doing him dirty. It's not okay. Chelsea asked for a lawyer and refused to cooperate. She proclaimed her innocence the entire time. Both Chelsea and Alex appeared in court on Monday, March 9th to face murder charges. Alex was also charged with possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. Their bonds were set at just $50,000.
That's crazy.
Alex was given a public defender, and Chelsea hired a criminal attorney. The same day that he appeared in court on the murder charges, Alex was scheduled to be in a North Carolina court to answer on the breaking and entering charge. Chelsea's attorney urged her to cooperate. He waived a bond hearing until later in May, when the case would go before a circuit court judge. Finally, on April 15th, Chelsea would sit down for her formal interview with law enforcement. She told investigators that on March 5th, Alex stayed at the resort with his parents. She didn't expect Alex to return to the apartment until late the next day, but instead, she was surprised when he woke her up between 5 and 6 a.m. on March the 6th. He explained his parents were dead. He and Thomas had gone out to the beach to smoke, and when they returned, the couple had been murdered in their room.
So he's telling her another story.
Yeah. She thought his parents had been killed by government agents.
Chelsea.
Chelsea urged him to call the police. She tried to explain. She's like, look, the hotel has security cameras that can clear you in the murders. They'll have video of someone going into the room and leaving the room. And Alex was like, no, the government has already wiped those cameras and they've set it up to make me look guilty.
Well, yeah, she doesn't know the tech available to these basically dark forces.
The deep state.
The deep state, the forever state, the perma state, whatever you want to call it. I mean, she never seen Enemy of the State with Will Smith? I mean, come on.
Or The Net with Sandra Bullock. Isn't that the movie where they steal her identity and take away all of her and make her look like a criminal or something?
Oh my God, I haven't thought of that movie in a long time.
It's such an old movie. Came out 97 or something?
Well, yeah, has she not seen any of these movies?
I remember at the time that movie scared the shit out of me.
Well, yeah.
But now it's more possible than ever that the government could strip you of your, finances, your property, and make you look like a criminal. And now with AI.
Well, you can lose your job and all kinds of stuff by just saying something online.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell?
You can lose your job when you didn't even do anything. I was reading an article about this guy who's suing a student. He's a teacher, and he'd given this student access to an Instagram account for the softball team he coached so she could make updates on Instagram. And through that, she hacked into his personal Instagram, found photos, videos, I suppose, that were, maybe personal in nature, whatever that means.
That he was sending other adult women.
Consenting adults. Screenshots this stuff, passes it all around the school, and then he gets in trouble. And she starts a rumor, too, that he was, having an affair with a student. So he's been, on leave, lose his job, lost coaching opportunity at another school. And just, it's been a whole big mess, all because of the student. And he didn't even do anything. He's the victim in all of it, but he's being punished because of something she did.
No, and this student certainly should suffer consequences of this.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are laws against revenge porn, and that's kind of what this sounds like to me, right? Anyway, I'm just saying, you can lose everything. You didn't even do anything. Chelsea believed Alex's lie, as she had before. She agreed to go to the hotel with him, and when they arrived at room 1208, Chelsea saw that the Turners were dead. Blood covered the room, the mattress, the sheets. Steven Turner lay as if he had been trying to shield his wife. Chelsea was terrified. I mean, because she believed Alex. She, at this point, is truly thinking her life is in danger. So she decided to help Alex by moving the bodies. Because she's just believing everything he's telling her.
Okay, well, look, she's goofy as hell. I know she's young, but just imagine if you are buying this bullshit. She's truly terrified at this point and thinks that they're in danger, she's in danger, and she has to listen to him because he's the only person she knows who knows what they should do.
Afterward, law enforcement confronts Chelsea with startling news. They're like, hey girl, guess what? Alex is not a super secret spy. He's actually a criminal with a lengthy rap sheet. And it takes Chelsea a few minutes to digest the truth about her boyfriend. She has a really hard time accepting.
And he's also
not who he said he was.
Tricked you into being accessory after the fact. So there's that.
Right. So Chelsea ends up bonding out, and at her hearing, she professes she's innocent. Alex Turner, it doesn't go to trial. Alex Turner accepts a plea deal. On October 12th of 2015, he was sentenced to 47 years for each murder, with the sentences to be served concurrently. He never fully explained why he'd murdered his parents. Many speculate it was due to financial issues, that they had planned to cut him off, or that they had maybe made a threat like, if you don't come home with us, we're not keep giving you anything else.
But if you killed him, they can't give you anything else, or does he think he's going to inherit the estate?
That's a good question, Dylan. Others point to his escalating drug use, which had worsened before the murders. He was doing harder drugs than what he had been previously, I guess, dabbling in. Unfortunately, Uncle Thomas Daly is left without a loving family to care for him. now he has no one. And he's like in state, state custody.
Yet another victim in this terrible crime.
Yes. Chelsea accepted a plea deal in March of 2016, guilty to accessory after the fact under South Carolina versus Alford. She received a sentence under the Youthful Offender Act not to exceed 5 years. And after 5 years, she could apply to have the conviction expunged from her record. Chelsea was released from prison in October of 2017. She appeared on Killer Couples in 2019, and she did seem to show considerable remorse for her involvement in this crime. And she says, even though I didn't pull the trigger, I wasn't there, she feels really guilty about having helped.
Yeah, she was just caught up. She was young, listening to this guy, buying his bullshit. And gosh, I feel bad for her in a way, because once you do realize he's full of shit, and what he's talked you into doing, I mean, my gosh, she must have been very confused. And
well, Dylan, it's easy for you or me to sit here, in hindsight, and be, when we're half a century old, just about, and be like, what a flippin' idiot, or my God, she's goofy, right? But remember back to when you were 19, you were probably goofy too.
Well, I was goofy,
and
but
naive and sheltered. You could have. I mean, this is a story I think that a lot of young people, and we've seen a lot of older people fall for this type of thing. As you mentioned, there's plenty of crime stories out there.
No, it's true, but I mean, one thing that's helped me over the years is my bullshit meter has always been very good and accurate. When I can spot them from a mile away.
Yeah, me too.
The cons.
How you get caught all the time.
The bullshit got people, the ones making up these big stories. I can just tell. I can just feel it. I can sense that they're totally full of it.
You're not Delta Force.
No, I'm not Delta Force, and I've never claimed to be.
You didn't participate in Operation Black Waffle.
Well, actually, I want to learn more about Operation Black Waffle.
Yeah. Alex is currently serving his sentence in a South Carolina prison. He's scheduled for release in February of 2062, and at that point, he'll be in his 70s. So I think Alex is exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah, I think so too. Anybody that can do that to their parents for any reason, save, protecting their own life, doesn't deserve to be free.
It's a senseless murder, right? And the fact that he just doesn't even seem to care or feel bad later or have any, empathy or, I mean, it's one thing, I suppose, to maybe be under the influence and do something like that and then later regret it. But, he just doesn't seem to care at all that he did this.
Depending on the drug and the drug cocktail, sure, maybe you can get into some kind of a state. But I honestly think that is many times, and this is from someone who's partied a little bit and tried some things.
We know, you've already told
been
us.
in various states, been really high, whatever. I think that's used to excuse behaviors a lot more often than someone's truly deep in some out-of-control drug psychosis. I think they just happened to be doing drugs or happened to be a drug user when they did this terrible thing that they were certainly capable of. And I think the drugs are oftentimes used as an excuse when that's really not the problem or not the issue. Maybe it wasn't helping anything, but I don't think that's what makes people do these things a lot of the times.
I cannot say.
Yeah.
I went through the DARE program. This kid has been kept off drugs, so I can't tell you. I never did it.
You shouldn't.
I never did those things.
I wouldn't want to see
so
you.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to be around you on drugs.
If I would want to go commit a violent crime.
No, that person has that in them anyway.
Under the influence.
My opinion.
Well, Dylan, thank you for sitting down with me to discuss Steven and Carrie's case. It's very sad. It's such a senseless murder. And it's, when you really think about it, I mean, you've got Thomas affected, their daughter.
I'm sure the whole family on both sides.
And for what?
For nothing.
For nothing.
For parents to keep trying to
Help their son.
help their son and get him to do better for himself. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I have a feeling if he was in Willy Wonka's factory, he would be a bad egg.
You think
They
so?
would sit him on the scale and it would just like, meh-er,
He should get dumped
along with Veruca Salt. Yeah,
into the basement.
he's a bad egg.
Well, thank you, and thank our newest patrons. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to many, many more.
Thanks, Dylan. Thank you again. You're just such a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, let me warm you up. Yeah, give you a little bit of skin cancer. Yeah, I'm the sun.
All right.
Here's a solar flare. I'll knock out all your
You know,
electronics.
I would do anything for some sun right now. I'm really over the rain.
Well, we needed it.
That's what the old timers say.
All right, until next time,
Stay safe.
stay safe.
Yeah. Wear sunscreen.
And watch out for Alex.